All righty, let's go live. We are in the house for May 11th, Tuesday, May 11th, 2021. Yeah, all right. Man, we're just flying through this year. Hopefully you're having a great, awesome year and everything is rolling for you. Scott and I are just blessed with all the stuff we're doing. We want to share, any insights that we can give you about your business, about your marketing. And that's what today's call is all about, which is basically nothing, which means that you can ask us all kinds of questions regarding whatever it is, where you want more information, where you're stuck, maybe you got a challenge going on that we can answer from our opinionated insights and knowledge and help you through in your quest to have an awesome online business. And I'm going to bring in my buddy Scott. That's the wrong thing. Hang on a minute, buddy. So where is I think I got the wrong, there we go. This one here. I got you. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm interested and excited about sharing our opinionated ideas.
Very cool. Yeah, and you've had like a really slammed up against the wall, no coming up for air date, as you were telling me just before we got on the call today.
Yeah, one of those days. In fact, I was on a Zoom call and yoga started at noon. At 11:59, I was like, "Oh boy, I gotta go."
Yeah.
I jumped out, went and came back, and then I had a 2:00 call where we presented a training for our members today, and was on with calls all day, and with project managers and developers, and just a lot going on. I thought things would slow down, but then the realization is now I'm playing with 11 affiliates who want to promote what we're doing. And so it's meeting with them and making sure they're okay, getting them up to speed and ensuring that everything works. So now there's just a whole nother level of multiplication of what I'm doing.
Nice.
I love it. And
nice.
You?
Yeah, we had a great day too. We presented Atlas today, which is our second phase. So I'm one of those dudes that making last minute tweaks right up until the time when you go live, and it's kind of one of those things. And then it just was awesome. But I didn't have as busy of a day after that as you, as I went to sleep. So I was out. So for about an hour or so, an hour and a half, I was just done. And got a little bit of shut-eye that I needed. So I'm fresh and ready to go.
Right.
Welcome, everybody. If you've got a question, thank you, Lori. It's great that you are loving Atlas. If you've got a question, if you have a comment, we would love to hear from you. That's what this is all about. So I'm hoping I'm going to get some engagement from y'all. So give us a question. And we can help with your business, help you move forward, give you maybe a quick insight or some feedback on something. We'd love to do that. And that's what this is all about. Ask us anything, because sometimes we just read too much and we know a lot about a lot of stuff. So there we can almost answer anything that is out there. Let us know. It's all up to you, my friend. And if you like what we're doing, please give us a thumbs up, a heart, and let Facebook and YouTube know that we're doing a good job, so we can get this out to more entrepreneurs, heart center entrepreneurs who need our help. And did we stress you out in Atlas, Dorothy? No, we didn't. I was not stressed out in Atlas at all. It was an amazing time. I had a great time, but I was just caught up to me after building all of the content and trying to summarize it and get it to a succinct level to deliver. I don't know about you, Scott. What about you when you're doing your presentations? Is it the same thing for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was reading Alyssa's question.
She's got a question. Okay, Alyssa, why don't you put it into the chat real quickly, just so we can get some context for anybody who's joining us, who's live with us, and for the replay, and then we can answer that for you. So we can definitely continue on and answer that, because that's a great question you have regarding.
It is a great question.
Regarding your discovery call, something like that, right?
We like great questions.
So put it in there.
Lead to great answers.
Always.
More questions.
Yeah. Are you, so Are you, when you do, what is she saying? The chat or these comments? These comments here, I don't know where you're watching from, but I don't see the comments from the group. So if you could just maybe copy and paste it in here, that'd be cool, just so we can have the thread in here. And that'd be awesome. So when you're doing your presentations or your stuff, how far in advance are you ready to go?
Usually about 3 minutes before.
So you too.
The presentation.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, it's like for Thursday, you've been kind enough to bring some of your tribe on for me to share Fast Video Creator with them. And that's Thursday at 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock, where I'm going to show people Fast Video Creator. And I'm basically going to follow the 3-minute rule, maybe a little bit longer, but the presentation is going to kind of be, I'm here to show you how to make videos fast, literally in under 10 minutes by using the software, taking a scene and putting your content out fast. And let me show you.
Cool. Yeah.
Here's what it is. Here's what it does. Here's how it can help you. And that's it. And I haven't touched it yet. And I will probably play a little bit tomorrow just to have something. Remember, Joey, like you, I've been on the platform for years.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Robin Williams, who was one of my favorite genius comedians. And everyone felt he was one of the most brilliant impromptu comedians ever.
Mm-hmm.
And yes and no, he just had so much material there that he knew what to bring and when and what was working and what was not. He was amazing. And it's the same thing in presenting. You and I do this every Tuesday.
Yep.
We have nothing scripted ever.
Right.
And it's what is relevant to what we're talking about and bringing the knowledge from what we've gleaned from others, what we've read, what we've done, and just helping people with it, because you've heard me call it e-empathy, where I can go look at a post in a group and say, I know what your problem is, let me go take a look at it and let's fix it. You're the same way. Mm-hmm. So I'll put together an outline, because
of course you got to have some kind of direction.
It's not I'm not going to be spending hours and hours and hours putting it together. Today's I put together in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
Yeah.
So
mine is the opposite problem, because I have a lot of information and I'm trying to get it really simplified. So I do spend, like, especially when I'm delivering something like Atlas, I'll spend a lot of time. Like, so today, that's what happens. Like, it's so weird, because my brain knows that it's like, okay, dude, you delivered today. It's time to let go for a second. And for some reason it just crashes. It's just like, I'm done. Right. And then, so then like from today forward, it'll be, okay, I've got like a week to put this stuff together for next Tuesday's delivery. And I won't be in panic mode. Right. But my brain starts to get into a different gear, and it's like, okay. And so every day is a focus. Every day is, we talked about the focus sessions, man. Like, literally my headphones are on pretty much all day long, listening to Brain FM, and I'm listening to all these other things, and just focus. And yes, there's a break here and there, but I'm like going, just looking at all the information and trying to get it really to a succinct 1 hour, not even an hour, but like a, 30, 45 minute training or whatever you want to call it. So, but I go right to the end, like right up to like, hey, it's 15 minutes from now, I got to present, and I'm still tweaking little things here and there, moving or deleting a slide here and there. But then it looks like it's a small thing, the presentation, right?
So we've got a question from Elisa, and then we have a question from Yannick.
Yep, we're going to get to them now.
So I didn't want to interrupt you, although I did. And I did.
I saw them. I saw them. I was going to, thankfully, I was going to finish my thought. But since you interrupted me, let's get right into the question and help Elisa out.
Good, because that's what we're here to do, is answer questions, not to listen to you all the time.
Good. What is your thought about this? Because you had we talked about this in the group. So why don't we bring up what you said about the discovery call, and then we'll go from there.
So Elisa says, in my business, we do discovery calls, which are very successful, placing about 50% of our clients in the program. We're at a point where we're getting busy and don't want to do individual ones anymore. Let's see. Yeah. We also are not ready to hire anyone else to do them. Okay. Feels yucky anyway. We're considering doing group discovery calls. Does anyone? Okay. So you and I both disagreed with group discovery calls.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to open up or get somebody to open up on a group discovery call. That's not, you've got to go deep and you've got to find the pain and, forget about the formula, but you got to get intimate with them and say, hey, what's going on? And you know that most calls I get on with people, they end up crying because I go so deep into what's going on and what their trouble is and not how they failed, but the mistakes they've made, the bright and shiny objects they've run after and the things they're doing wrong, that when we finally get to, hey, here's what you're doing wrong and here's what you need to do right, and they start crying.
Of course, yeah.
Again, I actually do. And in a group situation, they're not going to share their most intimate details. So with that said, the next question is, what is the price point we're talking about here?
Yeah, we talked about this offline. So Lisa, if you can give us that price point.
Yeah, because, if we're talking about a $10, $20, $30, $50,000, I got to be on a call with somebody.
Yeah.
If I'm putting somebody into a $500 thing or a $300 or an $800, with that, I'm probably going to put them in a series of videos. Or I talked about Jodification, Jody Peabore, where she's got all these videos on a page. By the time you go through her total of videos, I don't know how many there are, but it's like an hour or so. After you get finished watching them, you're like, I want to hire her. She's told me everything I need to know. So it's, rather than doing a funnel or a webinar, having videos that answer the common questions and go through the process and what we do and how we do it and say, here's our list of services. And I know, again, that's kind of how Jody does it. So $1,500 to $4,000. So actually to 8,000 private.
Well,
coaching.
8,000 private coaching is a call. You have to have some with somebody. The 1,500 to 4,000, what does that mean? Are there different products? So
if they're, well, that's a question. Are they different products? So with $8,000 private coaching, yes, that has to be a call.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get somebody to give me $8,000 just off of videos or copy, or even if it was the greatest sales letter. You got to get them on a call. So different products at $1,500 to $4,000. Those could definitely be series of videos explaining everything there is to know about the products.
Yeah.
And they make a decision on that. And depending on your guarantee and your copy in the VSL or the person talking, hey, this is what our program's all about, and this is what it does. And what you would do on a call. What about the $100?
Yikes. I would be eliminating the $100 one. If you're selling stuff at $1,500 and $8,000, you don't need a $100 product. That $100 product is an obstacle that you could be putting out there as a free gift. You don't need that $100. That's what's going to allow you to sell the $1,500 to $3,000 without any discovery calls whatsoever, and I do that all day long.
Videos are better than sales pages, in my opinion, because a video is a sales letter.
Yeah, you don't even this is a lot of the stuff you're asking. Elisa, is going to be covered in Atlas. We talk about all this stuff where you don't even need an Atlas. You don't even need a video. I'm not saying don't do video, but you don't even need that, because if you have your dream client targeted and marketed or understand what they're going through, all it is a simple invite all the time. It's just real quick invite, and it's constant. It's constant value. And here's the thing, that when people talk about value and influence, right? Influence is not something where you turn it on and off. This is where people think that's what they do. I'm going to go do this thing and put value out and then turn it on and off when I need it, or I need to do a launch and I need money this way. This is why everything I showed you today and the day before or the previous training, Elisa, especially today's, was all about like, how much do you really care about the dream client, right? And if you care about that, then you don't turn off anything. You're always giving. That is the main thing that you do constantly. There's no turning it off. It's about, what can I give people in order for them to understand that I understand them better than they understand themselves. And then they turn around, and whenever you put an offer in front of them by saying, hey, I've got this thing that gets you to where you want to be, Emerald City, right? Which is, do you want to join us? And you ask them to go on the journey. That's as simple as possible. And it works all the time. So and that's why I don't do discovery calls anymore. That's why I don't do them. I can, you saw how I did it. You went through the funnel, if you want to call it, to get onto Atlas, right? And that's why you're there. So it's the same thing for you. I hope that answered your question. Or $1,500, at least a $1,500 product, I'm telling you, is not difficult to sell with a Google Doc. Like, it really isn't. I do it all day long. It's not hard. And even up to $3,000 is not hard to do. Going back to basics, yes. And I'm not saying that you don't do all these things, but it doesn't have to start that way. And so with what Scott's saying is, if you can put out value videos and you start putting them on pages that talk about the journey, like you're talking about different journeys where they are, that is going to work too, right? But by the time that you offer them, they've already gone through those things. They've already pre-sold themselves. So there's no discovery call needed. That's what we're trying to say. So all these pieces begin to build so that you remove yourself, you buy back your time. That's what I'm trying to sell you in Atlas, is I'm trying to get you to buy back your time, because that's what we all want.
Again, Joey, we're talking about the same thing, different mediums.
Yeah.
To get on and say, hey, today I want to talk about providing you some value on how to do this thing in the mental health space, or building your practice, or whatever it is. And the most important thing that you really need to do is X, Y, and Z. And I just wanted to share that with you today so that I can get you going on the path to increasing your practice and getting more bookings, and not working as much by helping you create the product or the thingy. So I hope that's helped you today. And then tomorrow, and whether you do it in a Google Doc or whether you do it in a live video, what we're talking about is taking away the complexity of, I got to build a sales page, I got to write a sales letter, I've got to have a landing page, I got to have this thing, I got to have this thing, I got to have all these things, and then hope it works. Instead of, let me get some value out there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm talking about, yeah. Look, we are talking about the same thing. I want to be clear that I'm not talking just about one thing. Like, everything's done on a Google Doc and all that. I was jumping to, how do you offer, how do you sell people or whatever, and without a sales page and all that. To your point, that what I really want to stress is this: that our job is to continuously put out value. And I'm not talking about being 24 hours, 24/7 on social media thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that if you care enough about your dream client, I can't stress this enough, more or equally than you do about, building your business, then the influence, the pre-fluence, all that kind of stuff happens organically, because they feel and they know that you care. And the way you do that is by putting out information that you know that your client needs. Now, to your point, let's say you do a video like that, right? Or you do a post in a Facebook group or something that says blah, blah, blah. What do? They go to your page, to your web page, and they start looking around. Then they land on one of those pages we're talking about that takes them one step deeper into their journey. They're not ready to buy yet, but they're watching that video, okay? They watch it. It's a nice 10-minute video. They're like, wow, this is amazing. So let's say that they're one of these people who are the movers and shakers. They're momentum. They just want. What do? They binge watch, right? They binge watch all these videos. Now, I want to be careful when I say this, because then I don't want anybody listening to this thinking, oh my God, now I've got to do all these videos and put them all on my webpage and all to have this thing go through. No, what I am saying is that once you build that up, that a person can binge watch all the way through 8 videos, 10 videos that you have, and then they call you up and say, hey, listen, I'd like to talk about working with you. That's basically how it happens. But it doesn't have to be built like that from day one. And even Jody will tell you that she didn't build all that from day one. Right. It's all built from one person at a time knowing that this process works and getting the information that you talk about, Elisa, all the time on those calls into a video. People ask me these questions all the time. Why don't I shoot a video about this and they can go watch this? That's it. And they keep moving through that discovery process on their own, which is, like I said to you, that if you have all these people coming, if you're that busy that you're on discovery calls, you're probably on the discovery call way too long. Okay, you don't have the right milestone points that you're asking, like certain questions that say, hey, that moves them to the next step or not, by helping you filter out the people who are not going to be moving on. So that, in my mind, would be a process you put in place like right away. There needs to be points or questions that you're asking to say, well, I can see where this is not going where I think it's going to go. And it doesn't mean that it's all about money. No, it's about saving their time and about saving your time. So that's the one thing I would suggest you put in place. Actually, that's the combination answer, which is I think you're on too long, and maybe that you don't have those exit questions that help you and help them. Let's see here. Where's the question? Let me go back up here. Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, now, Nika, is that how you pronounce her name?
Hopefully that's how we pronounce it. I just want to make sure, because Elisa is responding. I just want to make sure we finish this off, and then we'll go right back up.
I get what you're saying, though. It's good to keep remembering. This thing keeps jumping up. It's good to keep remembering the point. Caring can be there, but you also want to buy back your time. I love that phrase. It's true. You're totally right. Good point. Thank you. That makes sense.
I don't see that one. Where did you get? That's weird.
I'm reading down here in the thread in the group. I deleted and reposted my question. Sorry, Scott. No worries, Angel, because I saw your question to begin with. So we're going to get to that. Unica asked the question, and then Connie asked the question.
Okay, so let's bring Unica on. Unica is on the online. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Scott. You talk.
I just wanted to finish off with what Elisa's whole point. And we did a session today on how to create videos that provide engagement and value, which kind of, I think we stole from you, but oh well, we do that all the time. Learn about fair play. And basically, we talked about one thing that you put out each week. It wasn't, okay, you got to go make 27 videos and get them out there this week. Make a video with this scene that has, whether it's solving a problem, answering the question, or there's a whole list of things, so that over a period of a couple of months, all of a sudden, whether it's a doc, whether it's a video, whether it's a blog post, you got all this content. Obviously, I love videos because people will watch a video faster these days than will read something, and you can repurpose it. You can't copy is duplicate content. Videos, there's no duplicate content. So I can take a video and I can post it in 7 places, and there'll be no duplicate content issues.
Well, okay, can I just add to this for 1 second to help Elisa? No. Because you just said something very, very important. And Elisa, and everybody watching this is really important. We talked about this in Atlas number 1, which was how do you build, what kind of a life do you want? What does your dream day look like and all that? And so what is the easiest way for you to give? Okay, I think, and everybody write that down. What is the easiest way for me to give? And I ask that question every day. What is the easiest way for me to give? And this is the way that you and I give, right? We get on here. This is our superpower. We can jump into anybody's situations and answer questions and this and that. And so this is one of our ways of delivering value. We're not really recording videos, but at the same time, we are recording videos. These can be repurposed. These can be turned into emails and all of the kind of stuff. And we have dedicated Tuesday nights to show up, right? And that's part of our giving. So, Elisa, for you, just think about, like, design the business where, okay, I know I have to give, and what is the easiest way for me to give every day or every 2 days or whatever it is, once a week. And that could be, instead of a discovery call, you're going on and you're doing a live broadcast in your group or something like that, that just does exactly what Scott and I are doing. We're just answering questions and this and that. And it's not a sale thing. It's not like at the end of this, you can click on this thing and go buy this thing. No, you're just there to answer questions. And that will bring people through the journey, because wherever they are, if there's somebody who's further along in the journey asking a question, then the beginner person will like, oh my God, I see where this is going. Or the person further in might forget about the beginner question and go, oh my God, I forgot about the simplicity of this. I got to go do that. And if they haven't bought your product, then they might want to buy your product because you're there guiding them. Do you agree, Scott?
Totally.
Cool. So let's answer Uniqua. I think that's how we say it. I apologize if we messed up your name.
I say Unica. You say Uniqua.
Unica. Okay. Cool. She's in the online e-commerce space and can't seem to describe the products to my avatar. Many examples I come across give health and fitness example. Can you give a specific women's clothing example? How do you sell a dress to a woman? And she's asking two guys, marketing guys.
Yeah, okay. I want to know what kind of dress it is. Who is it for? Who's the woman? Is this a teenager? Is this a grandmother? Is this a mother? Is this a businesswoman? Is this a dress for going out for the evening? Is it a dress for, what is it? Give me what the dress is before we answer the question. Because I got to know what dress we're selling first and to who we're selling that dress to.
Yeah.
And I don't care about health and fitness examples.
That's a great point.
While is doing that, there's a quick question in here from Connie. Are my products on Kajabi available on its app? I presume she's talking about the Kajabi app.
Oh, okay. So I was going to, hang on, let me jump down there and put that on there. Are my products on Kajabi available on its app? Yes, they are. As far as I know, they are.
They are. Because I've done that with a client in the past where you could go buy their stuff on it.
Great.
So I believe we're waiting for, okay.
Dress to a mom.
Dress to a mom. Okay, what kind of dress to the mom? How old is the mom? What is she wearing the dress? Is she wearing the dress to work? Is she wearing it to school for the PTA meeting? Is she wearing it out to dinner with the husband, for the family? Give me a little bit more information, please, Shanika. Connie wants to know how.
Okay, you've done it. So can you let her know? I think you just load it. How do I find it and lead my members to the app? It's in the App Store. Leading members to it.
Or you download the Kajabi app, and basically it's going to your website on Kajabi. So the page, and it's got a navigation.
I've loaded it on my phone here, but I never send anybody to it, so I'm not the greatest person to answer this question. So I think
I don't use it either, but I'm updating it right now.
The only thing that I would do in my case would be, maybe it's a good idea I should be doing, is letting people know that it's like the app and saying, go, here's the link to the App Store and go grab it if you want it.
So mine was downloaded from Google Play.
Google Play?
Well, remember, I am not I don't have one of those.
Oh, yeah, you're on the dark side. Right, okay.
On the dark side, I still...
Right. So I'm just doing mine here. I'm just updating because I never open this darn thing. Done.
I got Angel Hill TV on mine.
Check your email. So I guess, they have to download it in their app store on their phones. App Store. So there you go. Thank you, Josh. Uniqua is she's wearing the dress to brunch or dinner with her spouse, pals. The dress is very versatile like that. Then you just described part of the marketing. So you see, the more you ask questions, right? This is why it's great to work with a coach. So the more that they'll ask you and what is this for? Why? What does it do? All these things. Ask yourself these questions because that's what your end market is looking for. Why should I buy this dress? Because it's not about the pricing. It's like you said, the versatile is really great.
So, how would I sell that? Is she wants to feel good about herself when she goes out with her gal pals. She wants to look really awesome. She wants her gal pals to say, that's an awesome dress. Where'd you get it? So by putting the dress in that way, rather than selling its material features, we're talking about the benefits. She wants to go out. She wants to feel good in it. She wants to look good. She wants to get complimented. She wants it to be unique. She wants her gal pals to compliment her on it and to say how well she looks in it, how it accentuates whatever it is that a dress will accentuate for a woman.
The way that I look at it too is that because it's so versatile, that she can actually save money, because that's part of marketing. If you can help people understand how they can save money, that now she doesn't have to buy a dress, like a separate dress for dinner and a separate dress for brunches, that she can use this anytime and it fits into any of those situations. That's powerful. So that's where she can say, you're saying, here's why it might be, I don't know, $10 or $15 more than the Walmart one or whatever. And here's why it's so great. And so she just saved herself money. So add up the money that she would have to buy X amount of dresses, different dresses, and say, here's how much money you save by buying this one dress.
So, Joey, I'm going to correct myself. And I believe that in the Kajabi app, you can access your products, because I'm at the actual Virtual Holistic Health Center, believe it or not, and I'm accessing the products that I've already purchased. I don't see how I can find how to buy something on here.
I don't think that's what she asked. I think she asked, where was it? I'm scrolling.
Do you want to know?
Where was it?
No, Connie, they can only go there if they have access to your courses. The only reason I can see all those, Connie, is because I'm a member of all of those.
Right. So she says, are my products on Kajabi available on its app? They are, but to Scott's point, they have had to have bought it already.
Right. You can't go shopping that I know of on the Kajabi app on your phone. You can only access what you've already purchased and a member of.
Very cool.
This is what Josh was saying also.
Thanks, Josh. Okay, so Angel, what's the best way to warm up a very cold email list without the same old answer of just creating authentic conversations and proper email sequences? Well, here's the old answer. Start emailing them. That's it. I don't know what another answer would be.
Another answer would be discover what are the 3 biggest challenges they're facing right now and talk about it.
That's the same thing. Start emailing them. Like, well, that's the authentic conversation, right?
Well, authentic conversation, we're being a little bit more specific in if a cold email list has problems, then I want to start talking about them and telling them how I can help them do something. Get some result, solution, benefit, or advantage.
Yeah, the answer is just start emailing. That's it. You know enough about your email list to just start emailing.
What would you email?
Whatever you started with in the first place. And then if you want to, if they start dropping off or they're not opening the emails, then it's, yes, you can start doing the little 9-word emails. Can you tell me what you're struggling with your business? I'd love to send more content your way about that. Let me know. You might get, a percentage of the list, a very small percentage that really responds to that, but you'll still get more insight. This is all about knowing who your customer is, right? And that's all it really is. And the answer to how do you warm up a cold email list is always start emailing them again. That's it.
What's the 90-day email that Dean Jackson talks about?
It's not 90. It's 9-word email. That's one I just told you about. You send an email that says, hey, just wondering what you're struggling with in your business that you need help with. Like, you just ask them a question.
I was talking about the one that says, are you still interested in blank?
Same thing. It's just worded differently.
Well, okay.
Right? It's a 9-word email is a 9-word email. It's like, just wondering what you're struggling with in your business, so I can, let me know below or let me know or something like that. Instead of, are you struggling with anything in your business? Can you let me know what that is? Right? Or are you still struggling with opening emails? Are you still struggling with making videos? Those are awesome. And what happens is you're trying to get an engagement there. And so if they respond, because usually you'll get a response back, yes. And then you respond back. That's great. Can you tell me like where is you're struggling? So there's a conversation back and forth. I love those conversations. But there's also another way of doing it, whereas like can you tell me where you go one step further instead of asking the question. It's more about, can you tell me this thing? And then they respond back, hopefully with the part of the love letter that you're looking for from the 9-word email strategy. It's not that one is better than the other. I do both.
For Angel, it could be as simple as what you're saying is, are you still interested in doing what you love?
Yeah, for sure. Like you wake them up. That's one of the ways Dean talks about it. Is that's one way of waking them up. But if you don't get a response from that, you just continue to email.
Yeah.
Just continue to email. You probably, you may get a couple of them responding back, but if you don't, keep emailing. Okay, so where are we here? Let me scroll down. Thank you for all the comments. This is amazing. Just a moment. How do I see here? Susan. I think Susan. I want to build my YouTube channel. What's the very first thing I need to do to start and get someone to watch them? I've posted some videos, but I'm pretty sure I need SEO, which I hate. We need to figure out. Okay, so I'm no YouTube expert, but from how I've built, if you want to call it that, it is you go and grab TubeBuddy, because that is the SEO tool that will help you build those SEO, which I don't like SEO either, but it's part of what Facebook or YouTube needs. But it's more about looking for the search query. That's the way YouTube is now more important to understand what people are searching for. And by that, you just go into the search and start typing in what your video is about and see how people are actually searching for it, and word your video, your descriptions and all that with that format, and along with the SEO tags and all that stuff. So look at TubeBuddy. That will help you.
What's her channel?
What's that?
What is her YouTube channel?
I don't know. If you want to put it in there, Susan.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because I don't know what it is.
Which means, let me see here. I'm trying to catch up on all these things. Cool. Where do I send them? I don't know where I think that's Connie. I can't see if it's Connie or not, but I'm guessing it is, because on my side, there's no name, because she hasn't allowed StreamYard to see her name. So I don't see that. There's the Facebook user. I think this is Connie, right? Cool. Where do I send them? I don't know where you send them. I think that's Connie talking about the Kajabi thing. Ryan, thank you. You can only see the products you purchased on Kajabi app. Thank you so much for that. Susan, I like watching Justin at Primal Video for those things. He's a monthly membership of $37 that I think might have just closed. So there you go. There's some, I guess that's about the YouTube thing. Josh, okay, cool. That was awesome, guys. Thank you, Angel, for that. Hopefully that helps you. Just start emailing consistently. Don't be afraid to email. Like, this is the power behind your business. It always has been, and it always will be. I don't care what anybody says. There's all these strategies that come and go, and everybody forgets about email, and it is the most powerful thing that you could use if you use it correctly.
So, Joey, in the Kajabi app,
you got to move over. There we go. Yep.
Setting, and in account settings, it'll show you all of the sites that you belong to, and you click add. And there's a setting inside of Kajabi that you need to let people know that there's an app on Kajabi.
So that's what she's asking here. So if she goes to the Kajabi app, they add my product name to find it. No, you've already, as far as I know, from what I'm understanding here, they have already had to buy it. They can't search it in the app to buy it.
Correct.
Yeah.
For members, yes, Connie. So Angel says, I love talking to my audience. but have a list of 3,000 that I never talked to. Sad but true. A very cold list. So I will reiterate what Joey said. Start talking to him.
Yeah.
Just start talking to him, Angel. And you know what? Some of them are going to unsubscribe and say bye-bye.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Start talking to them. They want to hear from you.
Did we get Susan's?
This is her channel up here. It's in one of the chats. I don't know which one you're looking at, Scott, but this is the one.
I'm not seeing it in the chat.
Okay, so
maybe you could post it.
I did. I posted it. That's totally okay. All right. Well, you know what, Scott? If you're in, I don't know, where are you watching this right now, Scott? In the membership? In where?
1 second. I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah, if you go into the Facebook. Okay, so Angel, I think I don't, because I personally don't check my own email. Okay, so this is I'm glad you brought this up. This is something where it's our mistake, because we believe that our clients do the exact same thing we do. And this is, I'm in this all the time, because people ask me about a certain thing, and because I am so in the marketing space of it, and all the intertwining thingies, that I know what's happening, and I have this stigma or this, I don't know, this attitude about certain things or whatever, and sometimes I step away from it because I'm too involved with it. So it's everybody does this. It's really the professor syndrome. It's the curse of knowledge. And just because you don't do it, Angel, doesn't mean that your clients are not opening their email. So if you don't personally check it, then that's fine. You need to communicate with them. That's the only thing that you have that is yours. Everything else, and I think this was you. You lost your Facebook account or something, didn't you? Like a whole bunch of users or whatever. So your email is the only thing that you have that is yours, and it's very, very powerful. I would protect that like with my life and nurture it. And did I miss any questions? No.
Well, Monica, okay, so I'm just seeing, I'm in the other group now, and I'm seeing Susan and Monica. And
I did get them. Is there something we didn't answer?
No, I just was double checking that Monica hadn't asked anything. She was just commenting. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you had the 30,000 on Facebook and you lost them, right? So that's the point. They obviously want emails. My list built up to 3,000, and it's me that's asleep at the wheel. It's usually the case. That's okay. That's okay. We all do that. We all fall asleep. Just start messaging them and be on a consistent level. Even if you start doing that once a week and build up twice a week, getting and constantly communicating.
But then she also gets to talk about how I built my list from nothing to 100,000 again after being booted by Facebook. And then she gets all kinds of followers from that.
Right. What's considered a good open rate? Well, this is a question that comes up all the time, that I guess the standard nowadays is like 30% is good. But open rates are not important as much as everybody thinks they are. They are important, but just because people are opening your email doesn't mean that you have, the business is going to take off. What matters is the engagement, what they're doing. Are they clicking through? Are they responding to your questions? Are they going to check things out? So, but open rates are important, but they're not. That's not the be all end all. So, 30% is good. Going for anything to 50 to 60% is where I would shoot for. And those, you get those by targeting and segmenting lists.
Right, Joey, that's an important point there is if I've got an email list of 10,000 people that are garbage, then a 10% open rate might be good. If I have a small list and I get a 50, 60% open rate, which is what I like to have, that's really good because I'm talking to people, You have great open rates, I know, because you're talking to people who want your stuff. You're not just sending out emails to a list because, hey, it's like I've got 50,000 people in my Facebook group, but there's really only 2,000 people. I've got an email list. I spoke to a guy today has an email list of 15,000 people. Now I'll be curious to see, is that a real email list? Or is it, where'd you get it from? That's what I want to know too.
Yeah.
So me, when we write copy for a client and we send it to their list, we're looking at 40, 50, 60% open rates, depending on the subject lines as well.
Yeah, you're doing amazing here, Connie. If you're doing 29, 30% and 9% click-through rates, that's really, really great. The list size is, obviously if you send 10 emails and 5 people open, you got a 50% open rate. So that list is a little tiny, but I'm not going to diss you for it. I think it's good. I think that this is really great. If you continue with those rates, you're doing really well.
Kay Hutchinson right there.
Who?
That comment is from Kay Hutchinson.
Oh, see, I don't see the name. Yeah, so I'm sorry if you guys can do me a favor and click on the link above where you're seeing this, it allows StreamYard to capture your name so I can see it on camera and you can have some props. So I apologize.
Then I'll have nothing to do, Joe.
I apologize for that. So yeah, 29 to 32% is good, and 9% click-through rate, which also answers Lori's question, what's a good click-through rate? The 9, 10%, the 15% are good. And yeah, those are great rates. By the way, just to tell you guys, like email marketing for me is like the number one thing. That's how I build my business. I have to tell you that I don't get amazing click-through rates at all. I've never had click-through rates. And the reason why I believe is because I don't, thank you, man. I don't do a lot of selling in my emails, which I don't know. So there's nothing really to click on unless they really want to click on something like the Super PS. Basically, something where, you know what, I'm ready now to learn more about what he's talking about. I'm going to click through here. So my click-through rates have always been low, have always been really, really low. And so, and the reason I'm telling you this is these are all important things that you ask, right? But I don't want you to be inside this area where you're not doing 9, 10, 15% that we talk about standards, that your business is a failure. Because I'm telling you, I've never gotten those. Maybe once or twice I've gotten really up into the 10 and maybe 12% or something of click-through rate, and I've never really worried about it. And I'm still running a 6-figure business by having almost 0 click-through rates. So just keep that in mind as we talk about these standard thingies. Your thought on that, Scott?
I'm agreeing with you 100%.
Cool.
No, those are really good rates.
They are.
Open rates. And again, it goes to the quality of the list. How are they getting on your list?
Yep, definitely. I see how my friend Scott and Joey came along for the ride with me building my audience to 500,000 on Facebook while they built their audience right on. Thank you, Angel. Great, you started the list. I don't know who that is, but congratulations on starting the list. I don't know what this means.
You don't know what means.
Roliatinastis. I can't even say it.
Susan, do you know what that means?
Roliat.
Susan might recognize that.
I don't even know what that means.
What that means is Susan should be using that as one of her keywords on her every YouTube video.
Oh, okay. So you did some research there on what people are looking for?
Well,
or searching?
No, what that is when YouTube delivers the results on the right-hand side of the page, they're looking for videos that have similar keywords in them. So as you build your own videos, if you take your name and spell it backwards or some derivative of it and put that in every one, when YouTube brings up one of your videos as a result, it also wants to deliver similar videos in the right side. So if you start using some phrase that nobody else uses, YouTube says, well, this video has this in it, I'm going to do that. And I learned that from Armin Morrow.
That's very cool. Yeah, so Susan Taylor, I got it. That's very cool.
You know, and how do you rank videos one on YouTube? He taught me that, and I've been able to rank videos one on YouTube in a different strategy than you use, a quick strategy, like going in and playing. Susan needs some more descriptive words in her videos. I'm looking at one of them. She's got all of the hashtags. She should take the transcription of that 1 minute 25-second video, put it in there. She should also have a link to her domain. She should have the links to her other social media platforms in there as well.
Yeah.
Because right now she just has some, the name of her title and some hashtags.
Yeah.
So that's something she can start to do. It costs absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
That will start to help build some YouTube traffic. And then, of course, going and seeing what you did, Joey, with your Profit First.
Yeah, the Profit First, there's a couple of them that are doing really well for me. Even if you search for Dean Jackson's 9-word email on YouTube, I will be right up in the ranks. I think I'm at least in the top 5. And you can see, not only watch me interview Dean, there's 2 videos there, but also I think I've optimized that video and then maybe model some of that. It's not that, like I said, I'm not the YouTube expert, just learning from the grades. And this is a really great hack, Scott. Thanks for sharing that. Don't worry about the streamer thing. If you can't find it, it's usually in the link somewhere, wherever you're watching this. So if you don't see it, don't worry about it. It's all good. I just like to give props to whoever this is, because I don't know. When I bring it up on screen, as you can see, there's no name there. It just says Facebook user. So I can't. So I said, starting the list that I'm the person that said I have 29. Okay, that's the same person. Okay, this is Kay Hutchinson. Okay.
Joey,
Yes.
Joey, I just did a search in Google for Dean Jackson's 9-word email YouTube. Number 2 is a dude by the name of Joey Ragona.
Look at that.
So,
look at that.
Uploaded by Joey Ragona. And number 4 is you also.
Yeah, because there's 2 videos I have of me. There's a part one and part 2. Look at that.
So you are number 2 and 4. And Joe Polish, who's his partner, is number 9.
Look at that.
I love marketing. So you're putting out the actual. So if I'm going to go look at it, and I'm looking at Joey's, and if you look at that one, Susan, as an example, Joey has an awful lot. He's got the transcript in there, like I talked about. He's got where Joey can be found at all of his Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. He's responding to comments. So, there's not a ton, but he's there. And he almost outranked the guy that put it up.
That's what happened with Profit First, because Profit First, they used to be number 1 outranking Michael. And I think now I'm still in the number 2 or 3 spot, whatever, in YouTube as well.
And Susan, go look at your competition. Look at what they're using. Look at their descriptions. Look at their keywords. A few years back, a new butchery opened up where I was living, and I loved the owners. Their food was great. And I was talking to them one day, and they were like, Scott, our WordPress and our people and hijacking and this. And I said, let me help you out. Let me show you a few things. And the wife was the decision maker. Not that I was looking to sell anything, but the husband, I said one day, what would you love? He says, I would love to outrank the competitor down the street. And so I went and ranked them number 1 on YouTube and put them up there in the rankings on Google by just doing some search engine analysis and some it's research. It's looking, why is this person up there? Why are the top 10 videos on YouTube up there? Go do, like you talk about in Right Marketing Copy in the first part, the copy bank. Make a copy bank of your competitors' websites. Use something like SEO Quake. Find out what keywords they're using. Find out everything, and then craft your message based on that. so that the search engines are like, this person's looking for this thing, and they're going to most likely find you.
Susan, by the way, as Scott was talking, you are a part of the marketing club and private client, so you have access to the 60% opt-in program that discusses the Profit First video that Scott is talking about. It's that small little program. If you go in there, there's a bonus section. I think I did 2 or 3 videos where I actually walk you through all of the back end stuff that Scott was just talking about, of how I ranked and using TubeBuddy to do the Profit First thing. So I walk you through the entire thing, and it's not like hopefully it's not a boring thing, but it's really quickly that, oh my God, if I can do it, anybody can do it, believe me. And all I did was focus on YouTube or TubeBuddy. And the other thing is that every once in a while, usually every 2 weeks or so on a Friday when I'm like shut down from all the coaching, all I'm doing is going into YouTube and looking at what are my top ranking videos and tweaking the bottom ones and tweaking the ones that aren't, going back in, taking out some of the keywords that aren't ranking, because TubeBuddy will tell you these are not ranking, and then I just replace them. And then maybe I might switch the title. Like I do these things. It's not like it's a one and done thing. I go in and just tweak them and just say, well, whatever. Hopefully this one will start ranking, and that's what has happened. If you look at, well, I don't know if you can see my top 10, but I can, and I see the top 10s that are moving. And Dean's is one of them. And that's how I do it. Thank you so much, Lori. You were so awesome. Thank you so much. And did we miss any questions here? I don't think we did. Thank you for asking all these questions. We're here to support you, answer your questions, and hopefully move you along in your business. All right, here's another one. Great, thank you. Can you put a link into the chat for the video where you do the TubeBuddy? It is a paid program, so you have access to it. I'll do it in the group because I don't know where you're watching from, so I'll do it in the Strategic Marketing Club group. You have access to that as a member, so I'll do that there, okay? And I'll do that after the broadcast because right now I don't know where this is going right now. And that gives me, I guess, a chance to bring up the Facebook group. If you want to join the Facebook group and you're not in part of our Facebook group, join us. This is where you can join us. A lot of great heart-centered entrepreneurs in there. Awesome tribe. We are there to support and help you out in your business. Join us there in the Facebook group. We are there, Scott and I, every day, helping you and answering questions. It's just an awesome group. So join us there. You're welcome.
We got a lot of questions tonight, Joey.
I'm loving this. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming.
Good stuff. I got a question, Joey.
All right, go for it.
What do you do with a terrorist?
To explain what a terrorist is.
Okay, so in the hierarchy of people that come into your tribe.
By the way, everybody should write this down. Scott's going to explain the journey.
So you have what's a prospect. It's a person who is cruising along in life and somehow is exposed to your stuff. And I'll use stuff as a generic, your product, your service, your message, whatever it is. And they raise their hand and they say, okay, I'm interested. And they start the journey closer to you. Now, after they're a prospect, they potentially become a buyer. And whether that be first they go from prospect, they engage, they're a buyer, a customer, a client, whatever you want to call it. From there, once they love you, like people love Joey, then all of a sudden they become an evangelist. An evangelist is, hey, this guy Joey is amazing. You really need to join Strategic Marketing Club. You really need to take a look at Right Marketing Copy. You need to look at this. You need to look at Atlas. It's just that a champion stands on top of a mountain and says to everybody that they know, look, You need to go get into Joey's Atlas program and join it. Doesn't matter. Don't question me. Go do it. I've been very blessed to have champions in my life who have taken me through Fortune 100 companies. And just that's how it works.
Yep.
When they go through that journey. Now, unfortunately, there are terrorists. Terrorists join in that journey sometimes. They might become they're first a suspect. I forgot that one. Then they become a prospect. And then they might become a buyer. But they don't become the evangelist. They don't become the champion. They go from there to being a terrorist because something went wrong in their journey. It had nothing to do with you. It could be they bought a program, a product, a service. It didn't work. And rather than blaming it on themselves, they blame it on you. And then they go saying, oh, this guy, Scott, is an idiot. He's a thief. He took my money, which I never do because I don't care. Here's your money back. I don't even want that. But they talk poorly of you. And so that's when they become a terrorist. Or a terrorist is somebody that knows more than you. And they want to go in your group and they want to fight with you and they want to prove you wrong because there's something about them. They need attention. And terrorists just don't belong in a tribe of good quality people. What happens with terrorists in the real world? They are usually hunted down and removed from society. I'll say that in a nice way.
Right. Yeah.
So, a suspect is somebody that's like, then they become a prospect, then they become a buyer, then from there they become the evangelist, then they become a champion. That's where you want to take people through. That's your ultimate goal, is to have evangelists and champions. And I know that you have those in your tribe, Joey, because of who you are and what you do.
Thank you. Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm now experiencing the champions and the evangelists and whatever you call them. I call them ambassadors. It's just the name is doesn't matter. It's synonymous to what we're talking about here, right? And it's a great feeling. The terrorists are, they're far and few between because most of the time that when a customer comes in, a client, whatever, and they don't get the value or whatever, something happens like you just said, they just stop buying and they remove themselves from your list or whatever. They don't really say anything, and they're usually talking behind your back or this is not good, and though you can't even follow that, and that's fine. We don't really know what's going on. But the terrorist is a completely different thing. That's when they're talking amongst the tribe, trying to stir the pots and all this other stuff, right? And it's a tough one, bro. It's a really tough one because if someone, you know me, that I have a strong opinion about a lot of things, right? And so it's not that I guess you could say that I believe that I'm right, but I'm open to being wrong about something. But when this comes back to the superpowers and your passion and what you believe in and all this, and so when anybody who challenges that to disrupt the tribe, then it's my job as a leader to shut it down. And that's the way that I look at it. So I go in and will stand for what I believe and shut that person out. And there's nothing I can do outside of that, my tribe, outside of removing them from my list or whatever. But I will not put up with a terrorist because it's stress on my life, which puts stress on my tribe. And I don't want that at all. That's how
you won't know. You're right, Joey. And you, as the leader of the tribe, have to protect the tribe.
Yeah.
And a terrorist is a toxic individual who spews forth less than kind, heart-centered, loving, caring energy.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Yeah, and if there's the person who, who thinks that they know more than you do, and maybe they do, but it's they're not adding value or supporting the tribe by what they are telling you that you don't know or whatever it is. There's a difference between, hey, dude, I know this thing and I'd love to share that with you and the tribe to help the tribe move. Whereas, hey, dude, you don't know this and you're an idiot. So, so this means that all the stuff you're talking about is crap and you shouldn't be talking about that. That's a completely different thing. The person, they know all that stuff, but they're not helping the tribe. And that to me is a terrorist. Is like, well, dude, that's fine. And I appreciate your input. Doesn't look like there's a synergy here, and maybe we should just part ways. And that's really it, as gentle as possible, right? What do you think?
Well, I'm in full agreement, 100%. You know that I, from time to time, will boot somebody out of my group because you're not behaving. In my house, my sandbox, my playground, my rules. And my rules are not designed for me. My rules are designed to protect my tribe. Because if I let somebody get away with something, then somebody's going to be, why is that happening? I don't feel safe and comfortable in this environment. And it's my job to make them feel safe and comfortable. You know what's behind me, 10 and a half seconds away, 37 steps, is a yoga studio. That's my house behind me. And I've told the owner, I said, if somebody ever got in your face, they'd have to get through me first. Because I love and respect my community.
Right.
And it's the same thing in my online community.
Right. And
I love and respect my tribe.
Yeah, and Lori has the right attitude. Like, it's one thing. You see, this is a slippery slope, right? It's like, well, where do you draw the line? And so if we're talking about this as the overall, there's a whole bunch of different things we can unpack here. And the first thing I want to unpack is the marketing side of it. Okay. The marketing side of it is that if you have somebody who is challenging you all the time, right? They're challenging you, then that is your opportunity to step into what you believe and to show your knowledge and all this. It's not a debate. It's not an argument. It's about stepping in and saying, no, this is what I believe. And there's room for discussion, right? And I learned this over my years of being a very stubborn person. I'm still stubborn, but way back, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, is no, my way or the highway. That's the bottom line. And if you don't agree with me, you suck. Well, that's not how I look at it now, but I still have a tough skin, stubborn, have my ways, my opinions and all that, but I'm open to discussion. Now, if it gets past that point where that open discussion becomes an attack, that's completely different, right? But that opportunity of that discussion of whatever you want to call that, differences of opinions or perspectives and stuff like that, allow you and me, like, everybody listening, allows you to position and stress your point even further about who you are and why you do it and all that stuff, your passions, your beliefs, that dream customers are watching. So it gives you the opportunity to be real, to be true. And it's not, and I use the word marketing very carefully here because it's not something you manufacture. It's something that just happens naturally. And I even talked about it today on the call with the Atlas group, said, don't be afraid to step into what you truly believe. You don't be a jerk about it. You don't call people names and all that stuff, but you stand up for your processes or whatever that is that you believe that can help people move forward. And when a person like that is challenging you, it's helping you, right? So I'll stop there and then we can continue. But what do you think about that?
100% total agreement to a point. Yes, you get to put forth your beliefs.
Right.
But when somebody is just constantly throttling and beating you up,
right,
they're not going to become an evangelist and a champion. Not that I'm looking for that. When somebody goes and shares with somebody, oh yeah, let's go back to when we talked about the 3-minute rule. And the purpose of that was the fire drill. If after your 3 minutes, a fire drill went off and people left the room and somebody said, hey, I didn't get to hear the presentation. Can you tell me what's going on? I look at it in the same way. Someone's like, I heard about this group, Strategic Marketing Club. What can you tell me about it? That person should be like the Susans and the Connies and the Petras and the Monicas and the Lories and the Angels, and the list goes on. And I apologize if I missed anybody. Ryan and everybody saying, "Oh, geez, you definitely need to be in that group. It's heart-centered, this," instead of, the guy that runs it, Joey, he's okay, but, but then I'm going to be like, that's not the place I want to be. And that's not the people you want out there talking about you. So, I called you last night because I needed an attitude adjustment because I had one such individual, and it bugged me because it was a continual thing. And my gut reaction originally was, I'm going to remove you from the group. There is no one like Angel.
It's true.
We can't even discuss it any further. It's just a fact.
That's it. It's a fact. There's no discussion.
It's like the Nick Costanza thing. There's no reason discussing it anymore. We're at the apex of it, Angel Hill, period. So, my initial gut reaction was remove them from the group, remove access from the software. And you know how I evaluate everything, Joey. I look at who's using my software and who's bought what, who's at what level of membership. And like you do with segmenting, I'm not as technologically advanced with my segmenting because I kind of know what's going on. They're segmented in different ways. And
I hear you.
I can go look and see in what's going on. And when you get somebody that doesn't even support you in any way, and then is on the verge of terrorism, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? And then you discuss it with your advisors, you discuss it with your partner, you discuss it with everybody, and there's no good, warm, fuzzy feeling come out of it. It's like somebody on one of our calls within the last month or so was talking about a client who was probably turning into a terrorist. And what do? And we've talked about firing people. I've done that in the past.
Well, do you remember on one of our calls, our mastermind calls, that I was talking about somebody when I was doing, I think it was the right marketing cohort, and the person was emailing and challenging and of the objections and all, which is great. It's great. However, looking back at the data, it's been like that for 4 years. And every single time it's about the thing, but never there's been any advancement towards purchasing or doing anything. And it's not about purchasing. It wasn't about that, right? It was just about the constant, right? This is what, the constant challenge. Like, I'm okay with objections. I am a problem solver. I love challenges. I love being challenged and all that stuff. But then it gets to a point where, like, dude, enough is enough here. And you saw, and that I just said, this is not for you. Don't even buy this thing. It's just not what you're expecting. So I kind of, maybe that person was moving towards being a terrorist. They weren't a terrorist yet, but you could feel that coming, right? And if maybe they weren't, if they bought, then they would become the terrorist. Like, I'm going to shut this down now before that ever happens. Right.
The challenge with that, Joey, is it's like, Joey, call me a jerk. Just do it.
You're a jerk, man.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on. So for me to spend any time trying to convince you that I'm not, and I'm a wonderful human being, and all the things I do, it's a total waste of time. I'm not going to change your mind. So it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
When something gets to a certain point where they're full throttle at you, no matter what you say or do, that's who they are.
Yeah.
And one of these days we're going to have a conversation about the digital relationship and the fact that not everybody that comes off of a Facebook ad or search engine or YouTube or AdWords or Pinterest or Instagram or TikTok or Boozgla, wherever they come from, doesn't automatically mean they are your ideal target avatar tribe member. There's going to be people that get in that shouldn't be.
Right.
And there's no way for us to tell because all that we have is a name and an email address and maybe a profile.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I employ a lot of my repelling situations or strategies, methods, whatever you want to call it. One of them is, as you know, we purge the list. We do that every single month, and we look at the group, and the same thing. If you're not engaging, then we also purge that thing every quarter. People think it's crazy, but like whatever. Like, you know what? That's cool. Just engage with us. Let do something. So that's the way that I try to eliminate that possibility. And it seems to be working because everybody in that group, I've seen it lately in that group, which is awesome, that they feel as though it's a safe place. And there was a lot of conversation in the last couple of days about that, using those words. And it was something that I can't take credit for. Like, it wasn't something that I, can stand on the mountain and say, look at me, I built this safe place. I did, by the tribe helping me do that. But it wasn't on the radar. It wasn't like, this is what I'm going to do. It was more about the dream client. Who are the people I really want to serve? And then all the little things that added to what am I going to do to make sure that there are dream clients in here and that we're actually helping each other. So it all kind of, compounded and became what it is. And so that's one of the ways. I think the repelling pieces are very important. And you know that I do this also in emails. That's one of the biggest things I'm doing, is trying to repel anybody who is somebody who can turn into that terrorist. It's not about buying. It's great. You can stay on my list forever. It doesn't matter. If you're engaging and you're once in a while you open, and that's fantastic. Maybe you become a client later on.
I have, maybe it's a perverse pleasure, but after I send out an email broadcast, I go look and see if somebody has like unsubscribed or somebody has marked as spam. It's like, you're gone. Out. I don't want to waste any digital bandwidth. I don't want to waste any X and O's. I don't want to kill any mouse clicks anymore.
Yeah.
Because if you're not interacting, if you don't want to be a part of it, then I told you once I had some guy post something in the group and I took it down.
Yeah.
And he was like, I disagree with your policies and this and that. I said, okay, first of all, they're my policies. Second of all, you posted something against the group rules, which, well, it was a special offer and there were only this many left and I didn't have time. I was like, I don't really care. What you were offering, I don't know if it was of value to the people in my group. And if I let it go, then somebody would have said, oh, this must be okay. And they went and clicked on it and bought it and said, wait a second, I bought this thing as a piece of junk. And I thought you were okay with it because the rules say no posting of external links, but it was here anyway. So, I was like, look.
Yeah. So, no, you're right. Like that's a big thing. And I'm hoping that people that, you're watching this right now and you're getting some value out of this to really not be afraid to stand up for what you believe and not be a jerk about it or anything like that, but that you are operating in a community of people that you want to serve, that you can serve the best. And anybody that tries to disrupt that should, in my mind, it's not a good idea for them to be there. It's great to have open communication. It's great to have debates and different perspectives and all that stuff, because we learn. Because if we shut ourselves down, it's not a good thing either. And I've been there many times going to events or whatever, thinking that I already know this, forget it. I'll come back when the good stuff goes on stage or whatever. And it's the same thing in these things. It's like, I'm not going to listen to your opinion because, like, dude, I've read 5 more books than you have, right? That's not a good place to be either. But it's that whole thing about disrupting the tribe. Like, it's the thing that, one of the analogies I gave today, which I think is really important for everybody to maybe think about when you're leading your tribe, because we are guides. Here was the question, and thank you so much, Monica, for this. I love you for that, and everybody in that group. I love you all. Thank you. The question was this. The question was, what position do you take? What do you think is the best position to take when you are leading the tribe, right? Should you take the position of that you are the expert, right? And like you've been there, you've done it all, and you're teaching the people about all this stuff. Like you're the absolute expert, okay? Or are you the expert, but you're only a couple of steps ahead of them? Which one is the best way to go? And the answer that I gave, and I'd love to hear your opinion about this, the answer that I gave is there's really no right answer. For me personally, it is about being closer to the tribe. It's about the couple of steps ahead of them and helping them so I can have the conversation with them as I'm going through the journey. And I personally disconnect with people who are gurus and who are like way ahead of me or have already been through it. Not that I don't like them. I just disconnect with them. It's like, yeah, well, that's great, but that was years ago. And all these doubting things come up in my brain. Whether they're right or wrong doesn't matter. It's just that it's a disconnect. So I chose the position to be as close to the tribe as possible. And here's the reason why. One of the reasons is this, because if you're at the end point and there's a bridge they're crossing, you can look down, way down, and go, I remember that bridge. Here's how you do it, right? And meanwhile, it's been weathered through the storms. That some of the planks maybe are looser, right? And you don't know the bridge because you didn't just cross it. You know it, but you don't know it, right? This is my personal opinion about it. And so I said, well, it's easier if I just crossed the bridge and said, okay, Scott, listen, when you do it, plank number 3, make sure you skip over that one because it's a little weird, right? So that's the way I look at it. And then the other piece of it is this, that if you're leading your tribe, and because this was the question, like, well, why would they believe you if you haven't gotten to where you're going? Like, you're on the same journey, you're going to the same place, okay? And why would they believe you? It's again, I don't want to get into the whole depth of it all, but the gist of it was that you're both on the journey. Your job, though, as the tribe leader or as the guide, is to get knocked down and protect the tribe. So if we're going around a corner into an alley, which alley should we take, right? So you go into the alley and you get beat up, and then you get back up and say, okay, guys, that's not the alley we should go. We should go down. You guys stay back, and you get beat up, right? And so you come back to the tribe and go, okay, that one was not the right way to go. And that's the way I look at it, because that conversation is so relevant to the tribe because you're experiencing it. And they trust you now. Like, okay, well, dude, he just went down that alley. He just got beat up. We should kind of listen to him. So let's go down the other alley that he's going. What do you think about that?
I had a really good sarcastic answer prepared, but I'm going to choose not to share that one. And catch me if you can, Frank Abernathy, who, true story, impersonated airline pilots, doctors, professors, all types. And when he was caught and interviewed, they were like, we can understand how you did some things. How did you impersonate a college professor teaching physics? He said it was easy. I just read one chapter ahead of the class.
Yeah.
I believe with you, I need to be one chapter ahead. When I get on and look at copy, you and I have written a ton of copy, and it works. It's effective copy. The emails get open, my sales pages convert. I don't know how many things I've launched in the last 7 months, but let's just say 12, probably more than that. So if somebody tells me about how I'm pricing something wrong or doing something wrong, I'm going to say, show me the last 15 things you've launched that have succeeded every time. And I can only talk about writing copy and conversions because I just did it last week or 2 weeks ago. And I surround myself with people much smarter than me, much more creative than me. I'm going to do the presentation on Thursday, and I am seeking the help of my creator with the color scheme of the presentation with the software. Why? Because if it were up to me, it'd be blue. That's it. So I would rather be one step ahead and say, I don't know much about anything. It's like Henry Ford. He was in a court of law, and somebody challenged him, basically called him an idiot. You don't know anything. He goes, it's okay. You see that phone over there? I can call and get the answer to anything I need to get the answer to.
Right.
I can get the answer to anything. Why? Because I'm in masterminds, because I belong to groups, because I have an advisory board, because I surround myself with people a hell of a lot smarter than me. I know, what my superpowers are. And then I know where I need to bring in other people. So I have to be only one step ahead. And I have to be able to say, look, don't do this. Like your analogy with the bridge was magnificent.
Thank you.
Well, I went over the bridge 5 years ago, so I could tell you how. No, I was over the bridge earlier today. And so I'm in full agreement that we as leaders need to be just a step ahead so that I can pull you up. Because as soon as I pull you up, then I'm going to the next step, and then I can pull you up and I go to the next step.
Yeah, and thank you, Susan. You were just like us. It wasn't that long ago that you were just like us. Exactly. This was really 2 years ago. And that's why we feel safe, can trust you, and believe in you that you can help us go through the journey. It's the same thing. Yeah. That we're going through the same journey together. And that's really important that you said that. Thank you, Susan. And this is where all that we talk about when it comes to dream clients is when you choose when you choose the tribe that you want to serve, it doesn't matter the position. Like this is just our opinion, and we think for us, it's easier to be one step ahead or a couple steps ahead. It's okay to be we are not saying it's not okay to not be the expert and still teach somebody. If you're that person, that's totally fantastic. And it just wanted to bring this conversation up for anybody watching to understand that it is all about the tribe, period. And I feel closer to people that are going through the same things as me, and that I can relate to it on that level, and that they trust me in a way, and I know they do, because all the stuff that I build, the WMC, the right marketing copy, and Atlas, as you know, are all just these ideas that are just being created as I go, and they trust me enough that I know where I'm going and where I want to get to, and that I can build something to get us there, right? And that's why I came up with the analogy of going through the forest or turning around which alley. I don't know which alley. Like, I know where we want to go. It's one of these, but let me go find out, right? And then I do it, I experiment it, and then come back to the tribe and say, that sucked. That didn't really work. So let's not go do that. And they don't condemn me for that. They don't become terrorists. They're like, dude, like, holy crap. Like, why are we following you? Right? And they don't become that terrorist. They're like, no, thank you for going in there and getting beaten up, so we don't have to get beat up. And then we can go the other way.
Right. Well, and that is our job as leaders.
I believe that is.
Well, when I was involved in the Dale Carnegie organization, one of the things was leaders are willing to go to places that others can't or won't go on their own. And it's about just going out there and doing it. And that's what you do so well, is you go out and do it.
Thank you. Angel, I remember when Scott, Joey, and I were not yet surrounded by our tribes yet, and masterminding is a major turning point in success building and leadership. It is. I truly believe that. And that's why, Angel, even going back to the very first coach I had was in a major mastermind setting, which I had no idea what those things were. I was introduced to all this stuff, like kind of thrown into the lion's den right away. And that moment, it was like it happened yesterday. And I remember saying, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I love this environment. I want a close-knit group of people, a small group of people that we can share like this. And small might mean 200, it might mean 2,000, but it's not like I'm into this major, I need millions and millions of people and doing all this thing. Not that I don't want to serve a lot of the world, but when it comes to my energy and what I want to surround with are those small groups that we can interact and all the stuff that people are saying here. Any thoughts, Scott?
What else we got? No, I'm done, Joey. It's the top of the hour again. I'm toast. I'm done.
He's done. I love you too, Angel. We love you back, and we love everybody here. Thank you for listening to us every Tuesday. Thank you for being here live. Thank you for being here on the replay if you are. And if you do have a comment and you're on the replay watching this, drop it in there. We still come back here and answer them as fast as possible with everything else going on in our world, but I do not ignore them. I try not to ignore them. And please, if you are not in our Facebook group, join us in the Facebook group. We'd love to have you there, especially if you are challenged with a lot of the traditional stuff going on and you just want to work with dream clients, have an awesome life. I call it a focused business, a business with focus, which is fun, organized, clear, unique, and very simple. So I'd love for you to have a business with focus as well. Talk to you guys soon. Ciao.